Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told out of Voice of Radio. So today, we need to take a little bit of a look at the Pokemon cards that you should be investing in. A couple of days ago, I did a video telling you how you were all investing in the wrong cards. I use the example of things like the Rainbow Rare Pikachu from Vivid Voltage. My point was not that will have no value in the future. Obviously, it will have some value in the future. My point was that if everybody is chasing down this card from Vivid Voltage, and everybody is sending this card off to be graded, then that means in the future the population of this card and this card graded will be a lot higher. And if everybody's trying to trade in the card, then all of a sudden the value will never get that high. Yes, in a few years' time it'll be worth a couple of grand. Of course it will. But it will never end up getting to the kind of levels that, for instance, Neo Genesis Lugia is going to be starting to get to in the next couple of years, like base set Charizard is at now. It's never going to happen because there's too many people getting it graded. It's not going to compare to these 20-year-old cards that people didn't bother getting graded, and now the population of them out there in a good enough condition to be graded is far too low. So I did have a bunch of people getting in touch with me saying, all right, Rossi, we do need the follow-up video. What cards should we be investing in? But this video comes with a gigantic caveat right at the beginning of the video, and it is this. If there was some perfect investment that was guaranteed to make a huge amount of money, everyone would be doing it, and then it wouldn't work. I cannot just come here and list, hey, these cards are all going to be worth loads of money in the future, because if everybody knows about it, everybody does it, and then we run into the same problem. What we are looking for is the hidden gems, the cards that other people have missed, the cards that are in such low quantities that people are going to miss them inevitably. Those are the cards that are going to end up at ridiculous prices in the future. So don't look at this video as, hey, Wassy is going to tell me the cards I need to be investing in to guarantee I become rich in the future from these there Pokemon cards. No. Look at it as Wassy is going to give me some nice examples and give me the kind of cards which are likely to go up in the future, and I can use that to inform my future decisions. That's what we're going for. And, you know, there are some obvious ones, right? So, if we ever get something like Illustrator Pikachu in the future, that is going to be about as safe a bet as you'll ever get. Illustrator Pikachu sold ungraded for $400,000 because it's a card that was only given out to a very small number of winners of an art competition. So, when you get cards that are only given out to a very small number of winners of art contests, yeah, that is always going to end up being huge business. Similarly, we've got the first, second, and third prize cards. These are cards which are only being given out to people who get first, second, or third place at the Pokemon World Championships. 3 of them are given out every year. But you see, even then, that doesn't really tell the story, because it's not that there's seniors, a juniors, and a masters first place given out every year, because they're stamped with the year. So actually, that doesn't really tell the whole story, because there's only, I think they give them out for VG as well, don't they? So you're talking like 6 copies of the 2012 first place card, and 6 copies of the 2014 second place card. Well, when a card only exists with 6 copies of it, that's going to go a little bit nuts. And it has gone a little bit nuts, incidentally. The lovely Dan Norton, he runs a YouTube channel, calls himself DJ Gigabyte. Do check that out. I'll pop a link in the description. Was talking recently about how $20,000 for a 2006 World Championship promo number 2 PSA 9 trainer was probably a good price. Actually ended up getting listed and selling for $110,000. A little while ago, you could have picked this up for 20 grand. Now it's up to 110. These are the kind of cards which are guaranteed, ladies and gentlemen. Because you know what? There aren't any more. It's not like a new 2006 number 2 trainer card is going to come up on the market. And these are the kind of cards that if you don't get them, you'll probably never get them. because a lot of the time the people that end up with them are either the people that want them and don't want to get rid of them, or people that paid several $1,000s for them and don't want to get rid of them. But okay, these are kind of silly cards, right? Because it's never going to happen. So where else can we go? Well, an example I gave in my previous video is a good one for this one. Call of Legends. You see, Call of Legends was one of these ones where if you were paying attention, and I'll be honest with you, I was not paying enough attention, but it's one of these where if you were paying enough attention, you probably could have seen this coming. Because Call of Legends was largely a reprint set that most people ignored. There were a few good cards like Pachirisu, and outside of that, there were lots of reprints. Alternate art reprints, check out both the arts on Cleffa, but no. People largely ignored it. And in that box, there were 1 or 2 per box shiny Pokemon. And there were 11 of them in total. The pull rates were very low, and the set sold really badly. Well, that, ladies and gentlemen, is a recipe for super expensive cards. And these cards have become super expensive. Look, there's a Lugia selling for 20 grand. Now, admittedly, that is a PSA 10. Incidentally, the Suicune is selling for 3.5. Let's say Lugia is a lot more sought after. But here with Lugia, you've got the combination of set that didn't sell very well, super rare card, terrible pull rates, and that all is going to converge. Combine that with Vivid Voltage, which I know has had supply issues, but still being reprinted. Everyone is sending it off to be graded. You aren't going to see 10 years down the line Rainbow Rare Pikachu V Max selling for 20 grand like you're seeing the Lugia from Call of Legends a decade on being listed for 20 grand. It ain't happening, ladies and gentlemen. It's not going to get there. Now, one recent example, and this is one that I am slightly unsure of because I am missing a lot of the information, all right? And I'm going to say this right off the bat, but Special Delivery Pikachu. You see, for those that are unaware, Special Delivery Pikachu was given out by the Pokemon Center Online when you made some purchases of $20 or more in a particular series of dates. The issue was that they ran out and sold out very, very, very quickly indeed. Very quickly. Not only that, but they were only available in the US and Canada. If you're in Europe, couldn't get them. Shout out to the person that sent me one of these. It was so kind of you, and I love you. Seriously, because I was not getting this card anyway. I've said it a lot. People are very, very kind to me. A lot of you guys listening have either sent me cool stuff, sent me kind words, sent me news tips or images or whatever. Even if you're just listening, I still love you very much. But yeah, some people show me a lot of kindness through this channel, and I really appreciate it. If we have a look at Special Delivery Pikachu, this is a card which really does seem like it might be the modern card, which is ending up being just a super, super valuable card. But I don't know how many were printed, and I don't know if it's coming back, and that's what gives me pause for thought. If it really was very limited and it never comes back and it was only available for a short time and only in one country, and it's a card, you know, the artwork was actually done by the Pokemon Company art team, which is not something we see very often on cards. This could end up being a bit of a monster in future. Now, it is a modern card. It's one that everybody is sending off to be graded, so I can't say for certain. But if we look at the prices, yeah, there are some silly ones. One sold for £310. One sold for $280, but there's also a couple that sold for $155 and $175. The thing is, this card only came out a couple of months ago, so there is every possibility that if this card is never reprinted, and if the numbers were as low as we think they might be, this might be an example of a modern card which ends up getting a little silly. Because what we've got here is, we've got a lot of factors. It's a Pikachu. It was exclusive to one country. It was sold for a very limited period of time. It sold out very quickly. Maybe this could be one in the future. There are a couple that I'm looking for out of Japan, again, that fit the same kind of mold. So a card we talked about a little while ago is Well-Rounded Musician. Now, Well-Rounded Musician is a weird card, Because what we've essentially got here is a promo card of the person that sang the soundtrack, or the title song, to the most recent Pokemon movie. Incidentally, that title song is absolutely banging, and I love it. I listen to it in the car a lot. My daughter calls it Coco because that's what it's called. And my 2-year-old daughter is into it as well. It is an amazing song. But this is a card that was only given out as a promo with certain printings of the soundtrack for the album over in Japan. Not every copy of the album, certain printings. Now, they did do a little reprint of them. I know it initially sold out very, very quickly, but I know they did do a little reprint. Again, it's going to depend on whether they do more in the future. But that's the kind of card I'd be looking at, because we're talking about a Japanese exclusive card, and there's no way this gets released over here. And we're talking about one that was released in very small numbers and was quite hard to get hold of. I had to try a couple of different places before I could find someone to pre-order it, and I was on the ball. So this is the kind of thing that might in the future actually work out. Now, another one which I would talk about from Japan would be the Autograph Mani. Now, over in Japan, they did this Autograph Mani collection. Again, some lovely person watching did hook me up with one of these and did not scout me, sold it to me at a nice, reasonable price, and I love them for it. But this was a set over in Japan where you got yourself a little binder and a couple packs and a beautiful Autograph Mani card. Now, some people think these are going to come out outside of Japan. I personally don't. These strike me as the kind of Japanese promos we're never going to get. Certainly, I've heard no whispers of them coming out outside of Japan. But what we've got here is Mani, a very good card, incidentally. Mani, a very, very popular character from the games. And we've got a limited card. Then this set sold out again really, really quickly. So a limited card of a popular character that sold out super quickly, and it's got adorable artwork where she's practicing smiling with more Pico, and this is one that I could see. Now again, all the cards I'm talking about here, you could essentially throw my own words back at me and go, Wassy, everybody knows that the Autograph Mani is cool, and a lot of people are sending it off to be graded. Is this not going to end up like the Vivid Voltage Pikachu? And the answer is maybe, maybe not. I would be absolutely convinced that the number of Autograph Manis out there is a lot lower than the number of Pikachu, and it's certainly a lot more difficult to get hold of, and I think it is going to be a little bit rarer, and in the long run, I think it is going to end up being a fair bit more valuable. Maybe nowadays it's too difficult to find a card because all of these cards end up being graded, so you essentially have to go for the cards that are going to be valuable in the context of everybody still grading everything good. And I still think that this would end up being there as a pretty good option. Now, one that is really, really pretty much guaranteed at this stage to be a ridiculous card is Pikachu Wants a Hug. Now, over in Japan, they had a little promotion whereby you would essentially go and buy yourself some products. You would get yourself a little promo pack, and you could get yourself a Pikachu Wants a Hug. That is an alternate art Pikachu V Max. And if we go and take a look at Yahoo Auctions, this one, it seems to be that most people are selling it for somewhere in the region of about 15,000 yen. You can generally pick this up for 15,000 yen, but that's quite a lot of money, ladies and gentlemen. Again, we're talking about 15,000 yen, which I should tell you, if we go by today's current exchange rate, you're talking about $140 or £100. And this is only going to get worse as we go, especially when you're talking about, getting it graded, etc., etc. Graded versions are being bid on, not selling, being bid on with several days left for 40,000 yen, which is the equivalent of $375 or £270, and that is what the bidding is up to with 4 days left. And that is only going to go up and up and up, ladies and gentlemen. So, you know what? That is the kind of card that we should probably be looking towards, because it was a promo that was only given out in these promo packs in Japan, and even within those promo packs, the chances of pulling a Pikachu was actually kind of slim. It doesn't look like it's coming back around, and that's basically how we end up getting here. The point I'm making is, you've got to be looking for the more, if you really want the cards that are going to blow up in future, you need to be looking for the cards that most people either aren't looking at or can't get hold of. And that sometimes is going to mean that you actually can't get hold of it yourself, and that's going to be kind of annoying. But you need to be looking at the cards where the population is very low. There aren't many of them out there. Usually ones where getting hold of them is a little bit of a pain. They're awkward promos. They're out for a limited time. The pull rates are ridiculously low, etc. That's the kind of thing we're looking for. I mean, one of my favourite examples here is Umbreon Prime. Now, if you only ever looked at the English card, you would look at Umbreon Prime and go, oh, it's really not a particularly valuable card. I mean, if we go over to eBay, we have a little bit of a look at the sold prices, the ones that have actually gone and sold. People are paying like $20 to $50, depending on condition. It is really not a particularly valuable card. It's quite old. It ain't valuable. If, however, you head over to Japan, you will find Umbreon Prime is a very, very different card. You will actually be selling or buying it for, I should say, somewhere in the region of 270,000 yen. Which is about $2,500 or £1,800. And this is a non-mint, ungraded copy. This is the one I found, or a couple of friends helped me find, whereby, this is grade B, so not mint. And you're paying $2,500. Imagine if you had a mint version and got it graded. And the reason it's so rare is really simple. It was given out at the Daisuke Club over in Japan. You basically had to attend a bunch of leagues and build up some points and then trade them in for this Umbreon. So it's hyper rare. But I am willing to bet if you tried buying this when it first came out, you probably could have got it for a couple of $100, and now it's worth $2,500, except it's really not. Because if it was mint and you got it graded, it would be worth so much more. I know I've not given you many answers in this video, and for that I can only apologise, because the answers aren't really out there. That's kind of not the point. Like I said, anytime there is a guaranteed investment where a card is definitely going to get high, it's either everyone then starts doing it and it doesn't, or, I can give you guaranteed investments, but it's things like the prize cards from Worlds. Yeah, sure, they're always going to be super valuable, but they're also the kind of cards which are outside of most people's price ranges to begin with. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully that was a little bit of help. I'm afraid, like I said, I can't give you the answers, but hopefully I've given you the tools to go out and make some decisions in the future. As always, if you've got any ideas for cards that you think are really good investments, ones that you think are going to go up in the future, let me know in the comment section. Go nuts, be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCG Radio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can do exactly that. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.